Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And realizing that Blanc is obviously a very good character just everywhere, we didn't really use her in at least in a showcase format in Valor Cup. And Ranked Valor Cup technically just ended yesterday, or 2 days ago. But she is going to be top tier in there because I used her, and I know that she's really good in there. So I figured today we'd give her a full-on Valor Cup showcase just to really give people the evidence that she is just good in any kind of content that is ever going to come to this game, and it's just kind of ridiculous. So Blanc, being an AoE character, means that she's got good value. Her skill, being very generic, means that not only is she getting buffed, but everyone else is, and the nuking line is going to get this dark resistance down, which is going to really increase the damage. And then, hey, 40 extra skill points on turn 2, and then another 20 on turn 3, which you're trying generally to nuke on turn 3 for Valor Cup. Yeah, that's kind of important. That is kind of the difference between one buff or two buffs. Big time buffs as well. Because of the gauge increase, which is going to hit the rainbow orbs, which hopefully you're running. If not, well, you might have to work around it, but people who do have the rainbow orb changers are going to be feasting on points here. Okay, so this is the team that I used for the most recent Ranked Valor Cup that just ended. We've got Shuna, who's going to have, on top of everything else, the physical resistance down, which is going to help Blanc. And then we've got Zoe for defense, Reamer for the rainbows, Raphael for the orb stealing, and then Diablo for the secondary big-time buff. And you're going to see that this works fantastically well. Almost too well for what it needs to be. I mean, the Valor Cup prior to that one, we were using Tournament Stalwart Lumi, who is the triple orb stealer and the DPS all in one. So she was doing triple duty because she was buffing, damaging, and orb stealing. But here we don't really need that. So, turn 1, we're just going to swap the Orb Changer and Rimuru, and then we'll take Blanc out for Diablo. This puts both a Magic Seal and a Body and Spirit Seal. So no Orb Changing and no healing skills, like the Revive or something like that, or Drago or whatever. But, 1, 2, alright, cool. We didn't even use a defense skill, not a big deal. We can do it now, I guess. But we've got 3 orbs for Raphael, which means that we actually have 6 orbs, and this could be replaced with any triple orb stealer. Bride Shuna, the Masked Hero, Summer Hinata, like, it really doesn't matter. It's just that Tournament Stalwart Lumi and the Hero and Raphael are both 25 points, and so they're slightly cheaper. But let's bring Rimuru in, make all these orbs into rainbows, boom, and then, oh no, we don't have a lot of points, but we have a whole bunch of rainbows, which we know Blanc really works well with. So let's do the free 40 skill points. Let's buff all these rainbows by 70%. And so now, when we're ready to nuke, we have double protection gauge, maximum points, EX alt, and we're going to have 180 plus another 20 points. Sorry, had to remove the cat from the windowsill. But here we are. Turn 3, we are ready to go. We have 2 big-time supporting characters up here. Like, we're not going to use Raphael's skill. I guess we could. Attack and weakness resistance down, but we're type neutral here. So, we don't really have to use that skill. We don't need Rimuru up front unless you're trying to get some extra damage on the normal orb. But let's use the big-time Blanc skill, and we have 90 points left, which we can use Diablo. And if for some reason you wanted to use this skill and get another 10 points, 20 points out of it, you technically could, but there's no need. Because now Blanc is going to completely annihilate everybody. We'll put the resistance down on the front line, and so let's just go ahead and watch this funny damage here. And Blanc does 1.6 million across the board. And then we've got one more character in the back, the Masked Hero, who's dead. Who's dead? We've increased Diablo's damage by 100%. We've given him the 100% physical buff. I mean, he's going to do solid damage. So is Rimuru. And so is Blanc, obviously, because Blanc is a primal demon. And so she's also getting the physical buff. So it's kind of a joke, actually, how good Blanc really is. So let's build a not-so-sweaty team now, and we'll just do it again. Okay, change the team up by quite a bit. Protector now, Xion. Xion's giving physical allies guaranteed crit, guaranteed synergy. So, we're removing that physical debuff from the enemies, but giving Blanc crits and synergy, which we're now going to bring the New Year's Shinsha, who gives physical allies ult damage and then 40% crit damage. So we're losing the Diablo support, gaining extra crit and ult damage. We've changed our triple orb stealer to someone who's a bit more easy to get, quote-unquote, with Bride Shuna. Again, it could be any triple orb stealer. And then instead of New Year's Rimuru, because maybe you don't have him, the OG Masked Hero, because we can do stuff with the rewind on turn 2, because we're going to have points for it. So let's just go ahead and jump in, and even if you have to nuke on turn 4, like, obviously, you don't have to nuke on turn 3 if you're doing just willy-nilly normal Valor Cup, but for ranked, especially, you're really, really looking to do it on turn 3. So the fastest and the best way we can do that is to ensure we have everything that we need on turn 2, whether it be through a rewind or not. So let's go ahead and just send the Shinsha orbs. Hopefully she doesn't die to this team with 2 win characters. 1 and 2. Alright. So we don't have the orbs, or the Valor Cup traits anymore. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Okay. That kind of hurt. Okay, we got 3 orbs for Shuna. Perfect. So let's steal. Boom. And then let's bring Blanc in for Shuna. And then we'll rewind and we'll take out Shinsha, I guess. Because she's type neutral and I don't really like that. So rewind, do the orange buff, which is only going to hit one of the orbs here. But it is going to give us 50 points, which will then allow us to maybe give us a little bit of defense. And then we'll go ahead and hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This gets us a Xion convert, which is great, because that's going to be, hopefully, 6 oranges, which are still going to be buffed by that 70% gauge increase. Plus the rewind ability gives us extra protection gauge on all orbs. And with that, we should be able to cycle a second Xion. Okay, well, we didn't quite get Blanc orbs, so that's a little bit unfortunate. I wonder... Well, maybe if we change this, do we get the EX ult just from that one? We're gonna murder people really, really quickly here. So let me go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, so close. Unfortunate. Stupid Soe stealing all those orbs. Oh well. Anyways, let's see what it looks like on turn 3. Even without the EX ult, Freerin is in. Does that seal me for anything? Oh, it removes my ult gauge, so we wouldn't have had an EX ult anyways. Okay, well good. This is a good example of maybe things not working out perfectly. Ooh, but we don't have Xion. Okay. We don't have access to Xion. It was not quite enough to get there. Well, that sounds like we're gonna go to turn 4 then. Is what that looks like. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So again, not a perfect scenario, but we can still make it work. Please just don't kill anybody. Okay, well, Soe can die. He's not important. Okay, he didn't die. Okay, well, now we've got 210 points, which is actually 230 points. So let's do the big time buff. Boom. We'll take Soe out of here for Shinsha. And then we'll do her buff. And then we can also use the crit resistance debuff with the hero. And then we have Xion to give us crit and synergy, which we're not really doing anything with, but it's still a buff. And we can see how much damage Blanc does even without the EX ult. And she does 611 and then 10 million? 1 million? 10 million? Something around, something gigantic over there. But she can still get the job done. Like, that's not tippity-top Valor Cup numbers, like the 600k. Like, that's not going to fly on Battle 20 of Ranked. But for normal people that don't really care, that's way more than enough damage. Because Valor Cup enemies only have, like, 40,000 HP at max. So, really, really, really good. Let's try one more team. Alright, yeah, I know our supports aren't really optimized, but we're not trying to do ranked here. But let's change up the team one more time. Let's totally switch it up. Protector Velzard, even though Blanc is not a magic character, so she's not getting the extra stats, Velzard is still probably the second best protector, if not still the best protector for Ranked Valor Cup, because she can do pretty much anything that you want her to and buff anybody, just like how Blanc can buff anybody. So we're going to get the element damage, we're going to get the Drago effect, which is going to increase our physical damage, well, the physical damage, and the element. We've got Diablo for synergy more in the green buff, we've got Guy for the synergy in case you don't have this Diablo, and realistically, I'm only going to try and use his buff, but Diablo's here mainly for his green buff. So if you want to take him and swap him for maybe the free-to-play Veldora or the Dark Isis, someone that can give a gauge increase to green orbs, that's going to be pretty important. And then we've brought free-to-play Light Mirren, because as we saw, we kind of got shafted on that turn where we didn't have enough ult gauge for Blanc to get her EX ult, because we were lacking a few oranges when we did the steal. And yes, I know that Freerin would have denied us anyway, but if Freerin hadn't taken our ult away, we would have needed like one more orange orb. And so this is how we're going to get it. So let's bring you in for Isis, and then we'll bring you in for Blanc. Boom. That should at least give us some kind of steal right there. Or not steal, but seal. Okay, a gauge decrease. Never mind, it wasn't that good. Okay. But, oh, extra defense makes him a little bit more tanky. That's actually good for us. And, okay, so we've got 2 oranges and 1 green. Not a big deal. So let's go ahead and steal with Hinata. Perfect. We'll bring Blanc in for Hinata. And then we can... Let's see, we can convert here and change that 1 green into another orange. And that will give us probably enough now. So let's go ahead and buff those up. Boom. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, perfect. So we're not going to get max points. We're not using the rewind on this team, but we are going to get Velzard. We do have an EX ult, as long as we don't get denied in the back. Magic souls are sealed, or magic skills are sealed. We are not really going to do that. In fact, you don't really need Isis if we're not using the rewind either. Not a big deal still. Okay, but even though we're not going to be fully capped out, we're going to get the free 30 points from Velzard, which is going to put us over 150 anyways. And then we do have access to Blanc's extra 20 points because we can use the skill again and still make something back. And we're still looking good. Blanc can get rid of bad RNG because you don't have enough points and your skills are too expensive, because she can just give it to you. And she can buff the oranges, which you probably want to run an orange-focused team here, if anything. So maybe not Velzard, but we're showing that she can still work. So let's do the big time buff. Boom. And then we'll bring Guy in for Mirren, I guess. And then we have enough points to use his buff. And if we do this, we can get ourselves 20 points back, and then we have 50, and then we could use the synergy resistance down, which will just help our nuke. And the only reason we could use that skill is because of Blanc's free points. So now with the Drago effect, and looking at Blanc, we're getting 120% physical attack damage, 48% synergy power, 60% element buff. So we are increasing the buffs we've put on Blanc using other characters and herself, and her nuke still does 669,000 damage. Nice. Great number right there. And oh look, it's enough to kill everything. So Blanc is just, she's too good. I see why Jean could not buff her, because she's not a charge character. They had to do that on purpose, because she would do way too much damage. Like, ridiculously stupid amounts of damage, which she already technically does. She's just a very good jack-of-all-trades character, while being an excellent nuker, while being an excellent support character, and it's so refreshing. They kind of did Blanc dirty the last 2 unit releases, with Primal Demon being a strict DPS and not really good for anything else, and then the Divine General Blanc just being horribly underwhelming for a 3rd anniversary team. It is nice to see that a 3.5 anniversary branded Blanc is ridiculously powerful. So let me know what you guys think of the new Blanc in Valor Cup. What other Valor Cup teams do you think she would work well on, in case people don't have any of these options that I showed? Really, realistically, she's going to work everywhere. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.